got back from the midnight screening of
Tron
Legacy, and we didn't really know what to expect because there were mixed reviews.
Tron!
Mixed reviews coming out of early screenings.
Tron!
Tron! God damn it! So right off the bat, the people that have seen the original Tron include Joe, myself, Paul, and that's it. Paul saw it a long time ago, didn't really remember it. Joe and I actually only just watched it the night before we saw Tron Legacy because we had never seen it, but we wanted to watch it. Turns out you don't need to see the original. In fact, I would recommend against it, but that's a whole nother.
I thought it was cutting edge stuff.
It was cutting edge stuff in 1982, but now obviously it's kind of difficult to watch. So we were just like laughing at it the whole time.
It was pretty bad.
But aside from the fact that it's dated, I do appreciate that what it was for 1982, but the plot in the original one is very, very just. There's really no plot to it, in my opinion, and it's just kind of irrelevant, or not irrelevant, but it's just pointless. In Tron Legacy, the plot, there's a lot more of it. So I just think that Tron Legacy is, like, in that sense, way far superior to the original one. Obviously, without the original, the sequel wouldn't come, but I don't know.
I didn't understand every little subplot to the means that got to the final conflict, but I mean, it's as kind of plain as the colors of their suits, like who was good and who was bad.
Right.
Yeah.
It's very basic in that sense.
Yeah, it didn't take much to, know what was at stake, and it's not the kind of movie that. I mean, I guess you could if you're those 80s nerds really get into it, but for me, I just enjoyed a good guy bad guy struggle.
Who you calling an 80s nerd? So plot-wise, I thought that Tron Legacy was better than Tron, just for, like I said, there was a tiny little plot in the first one and a much bigger plot in the second one. Now, visuals, obviously. How do you feel? Do you think that the original was better than the new one?
Well, they went from fighting on blocks to fighting in a city.
Blocks and lines.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
the visuals.
The grid.
Wow.
The visuals, obviously, from the trailers, you could see that it was going to be awesome. And Paul and I went to Comic-Con, so we saw a lot of it there. And the reason I point that out is because that comes up later on in this review. So keep watching, folks. One aspect of the visuals is the 3D. And I think we all kind of agree that, you said it. You said it first. I think we
nothing special.
It could have been better.
It was a little blurry too.
Yeah, he was complaining of blurriness.
It was blurry.
My eyes aren't good enough to. I don't know.
No, I saw a little blurry.
I don't think people always get the difference between the IMAX and the 3D. Like they're not one thing. They exist separately.
Right.
The IMAX part of it was, I think, really,
that was great.
Really great.
I could have seen it in 2D IMAX, I think, and I could have enjoyed it just as much.
Yeah.
Because the 3D really, for the 3D movie event of the year, it wasn't what I was expecting in terms of 3D. I mean, there was a couple spots, and like you said, there's a couple spots where like the 3D scared me. It came right at the screen.
Yeah.
But
not a lot.
overall, I don't think it was really that big of a deal.
Like with all the beginning scenes with him on the game, they definitely could have
Well, I was just gonna say in the beginning, something that was interesting in regards to the 3D was anything that was in the real world. Meanwhile, in the real world, everything's in 2D, so it's shot in 2D. And then as soon as they go into the grid, right?
Kind of like a Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, and I thought that was interesting. It was almost like a modern day Wizard of Oz sort of effect, where it was black and white and then color. So I thought that was interesting how it went from 2D to 3D. I don't think I've seen that done specifically, but I thought that was kind of interesting actually. So that was cool. And the other big visual thing we got to talk about is Jeff Bridges from 1982. Oh no, it was sort of 1988 or something like that. So whatever, old Jeff Bridges to young Jeff Bridges. So the young Jeff Bridges, what'd you guys think?
It was cool that they tried it.
No, they had potential.
I think that I was expecting definitely more from it, and you could see from the trailers that it was kind of cartoony.
I still really liked it.
Oh, I liked it a lot. Yeah, I was totally in. It didn't take me out of it at all.
I've seen a lot of Jeff Bridges' older movies, so it was kind of super cool to.
Yeah, right. No, it was.
These are all movies that he did before I was born, and I'm seeing him at that age, and it's really kind of surreal.
Up on the big screen like that, yeah. So even though it didn't, like I said, it didn't take me out of it. That I didn't think, it looked computer generated. So clearly there was no like, ooh, is it not?
Only when he talked.
It really only when he talked because like I said, his forehead didn't move a whole lot at the beginning. It started to soften up a little towards the end. It sounded like the Botox was wearing off. But
gotta break it in.
yeah, exactly. The acting. Let's start with Jeff Bridges right off the bat. I thought that he was awesome. I think it's so cool that he was so into it because I could imagine a lot of people in his position kind of just being like, like imagine if Bill Murray was asked to come back for something like this. You know what I mean? Like he would just half-ass the hell out of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But Jeff Bridges was totally into it, and I just think it's so interesting that he seems like a pretty high caliber actor right now. Like now, as opposed to back then.
Oscar winner.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So as opposed to back then, now I'm almost it's almost surprising that he was like, I'll come back for Tron, a Tron sequel. You know? So I just think that that's awesome of him that he did that, and I think he was fantastic.
He had already done some really good stuff before he did Tron. Like Tron wasn't.
But I don't think. But he wasn't as high caliber, like I said.
No, he really was.
Was he? No way.
Yeah, like he did The Last Picture Show, which was a really good performance movie, 1971.
So that's weird because Tron seems like a pretty crappy movie to have been.
The 80s was like the first, like, they tried 3D back then.
Right.
Like they were really trying to push the technological wave, and I guess that's probably why they did this movie, is because Tron's a really cool concept.
Right. So it's good to bring it back for a new generation and do it the way that they probably wanted it.
It really wasn't. I don't really think of this movie as a sequel.
Right. It was almost like a remake sequel.
And it wasn't.
Wait, people consider that a sequel to?
This is a sequel to the original one.
It technically is.
It is.
It was only consistent to the first one.
In the sense of characters.
In the sense that the same characters are used.
Yeah, which I thought, and I love that they had actors.
But the story was pretty much reinvented.
Right, and I think that's great. I think it's like bringing Tron. Like this is my Tron. The '82 Tron is the the adult generation right now, like our parents' generation of Tron. This is our Tron.
Those poor people.
Enjoy it.
You can have it.
Yeah. So new actors, we had Garrett Hedlund as Sam. I thought that he was a little full of himself. It seemed. But you know what? The character was full of himself. That's the thing.
He kind of reminded me a lot of, and there's a lot of things that remind me of Avatar in regards to like marketing the movie and stuff like that. But he reminded me of Sam Worthington in the sense that he had like those punchlines.
Right. He was very. You know what though? It was good because Jeff Bridges was so sarcastic in the first one. It was clearly his character's son. I was thinking that the whole time, like, because we had just watched it, and we were just talking about how sarcastic Jeff Bridges was in the original. So I was like, this is definitely his son for sure. So I thought that worked. But is there an issue or?
It's his father's son.
Another not a big deal, but Olivia Wilde.
Nice shoulders.
Olivia Wilde was kind of a big draw for me, to be honest with you. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
I love Olivia Wilde. So, and I thought she was great. I was actually surprised how different she was in this than I was expecting. I thought it was just gonna be Olivia Wilde. You know what I mean? But she was totally like different.
My thing is, like in like action movies like these, like the female character, the femme fatale or whatever, they're usually like really like tough and gritty kind of.
But she wasn't.
But that's just the thing. I feel like today, like the quirky female is becoming like the new trend here.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I thought that like
she was tough, but not in like a like a brawny way.
She was quirky.
Right.
As far as attractive that they made her, I thought they made her like really like sexy. It was weird because I think she was hot. No, I'm serious.
With a little.
When you said sexy, I just kind of lost it.
I thought they got like a drop dead gorgeous one that was just like all like so hot, like it'd just be distracting.
I think she's pretty hot.
I think she's pretty drop dead.
I wouldn't describe her with hot though. Especially I'm talking about the way she was dressed.
Olivia Wilde is gorgeous.
I don't know the actress. I don't know who you're talking about.
Really?
Olivia Wilde.
No. She was just in the movie.
Well, no, I know her now, Joe. No, like they could have made her hotter. Like they could have given her longer hair.
I don't know if that's really the point.
It's PG.
Not hot enough.
No, I'm saying if
you don't want the little kids.
If she was hotter, it would have distracted. And that's my point. So, yeah,
it's a good point.
Eat it.
Okay, the music was completely scored by Daft Punk. We looked at the credits, and there's only like 2 songs credited.
Other than that.
Yeah, and none of them were from
They were just 80s songs from the beginning.
But it was super cool. It was like really electronica, beaty.
Daft Punk.
Yeah.
Just what you'd expect. Oh, my heart pounding. There's parts where I was like, I can't hear anything, and it was like in your ears. It's crazy, but it was great. It was like
It was
like
nuts.
a
Yeah,
piano ride.
it was perfect for that.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And Daft Punk were actually in the movie. You didn't really like that much.
No, I love Daft Punk and I was excited to see them, but for the sake of the movie, it just took me out of the movie for a brief moment, and I had to
Recompose yourself.
get focused again.
That's for you though. But what about you guys?
I didn't know they were in it, so
They didn't know it was them, so it did nothing for them. So it's not that big. I don't think it's that big of a deal to the general public. But I understand what you're saying, and I agree. Personally. And then other little, there's, that was kind of like a nod towards, towards Daft Punk being in it, and there was other nods towards the original, such as the door.
The door,
The huge door, which was hilarious. Then also there was Dillinger's son. I thought that was kind of cool. And the other thing I thought was cool was that they did the, he was holding up his circle? Whatever.
The
disc, yeah. Up into the beam. And so I thought that was cool, because that's like the poster from the original one and the new one, so I thought that was cool. I'm even gonna acknowledge that I just did that.
Yeah, right?
This was
No.
Just forget it.
It probably didn't.
I'm tired. And that's pretty much Comic-Con. Paul and I went to Comic-Con. And basically what happened was they actually had the whole crowd in Hall H chant and do all kinds of cool stuff. And they recorded it and they put it in the movie.
So anytime you hear stadium cheering,
Yeah.
that's us.
We're in it.
And
then, and I just want to say it's awesome that in the credits they actually did say special thanks or whatever to the fans in Hall H at Comic-Con. So I thought that was awesome, and we actually waited in the credits just to see that. And you guys are just jealous, okay? You're just jealous we went to Comic-Con.
Get out! Get out!
And so that's really all that we have to say about Tron Legacy. Okay. What just happened?
Nope.
Okay, so what did you think?
I thought it was great.
Okay, I thought it was great as well.
I thought it was super cool.
Thought it was awesome.
So let us know in the comments what you thought about Tron Legacy. Let us know if you saw the original and what you thought of it, because I think that has an effect on what you thought of Tron Legacy, possibly. Let us know what you thought of the young, old Jeff Bridges. Let us know what you thought of the 3D. And that's...
Tron!
That's
Tron!
That's
Tron!
That's
Tron! Tron! And that's pretty much it.
We just got back from seeing the midnight screening of...
Tron!
Wait. We just got back from the midnight screening of...
Tron!
And while we weren't really sure what to expect...
Tron!
He's holding his breath! Why are you holding your breath?